Greetings, Sketchup users. So, this is Soren77. I'm going to be teaching you the basics here. Now, this actually, the setup you're looking at is all of the plugins that I use. Um, but I'm going to try to make this easier. I'm going to get rid of some of these here, well, most of them, right now, so I can show you what it looks like to just have the stock version of SketchUp. Now, I will go back to the version that I started with, but right now, we're just going to go with the stock version. I wanted to make this easier for pretty much anyone who uses SketchUp with any version of SketchUp. Now, with the stock version, you don't get much. I mean, you get enough to do things, um, but if you're going to be making starships or space stations of any kind, or even anything other than structural design, you will eventually need other plugins that assist you with modifying your geometry and things like that. You know, this is what you're going to need. But right now, we are just going to start with the basics. So, now I could create here a basic starship. And I could show you the hard way to do it and the easy way to do it. Now, the way I'm going to show you now is actually harder than what you think it is. So you create your circle ellipse here, bring it up a little bit here, and then what I see a lot of people do is they'll do like this here, and they'll bring this up, and then you go to your thing here, and I can actually bring this down a little bit, make sure it's on the blue axis there. But I mean, this is basically what I see most of the time for people just starting, and that's not bad. That's not bad. It's how I learned, and you have to start somewhere. So I'm not trying to downplay any of you who are new users. I'm just trying to show you how to create a more detailed ship, something that you're going to be proud of, that other people are going to love, that other people are going to comment on. Because right now, this here, the one that I've just done here, it's I'm not done with it yet, but it's pretty basic. So okay, so you're gonna this here, I'm just throwing this together like really quick, just to kind of show everybody that it can be done, like with the tools available. But also again, it can be done really well with the tools available too. But there are other things that you'll need later on, trust me. So you want to, like if you're looking at this and you want to get a flat view, so then you switch to parallel projection. You would go to right. I prefer right. Um, I know other people prefer other things, other views. But so we're going to do, and I'm just doing a basic, enterprise here. So y'all can see what it looks like. we're going to do that one there. And then we're just going to double click again on the other side and it will evenly match it up. So, right. And if you triple click on a piece of geometry, you'll select the whole thing. I actually prefer turning them into components. So what you'll do here is all neck, create, and then triple click, make component, and then you can leave it as is or you can rename it. So it's easier. Trust me, it is easier to rename your components. So we'll do saucer. Camera, standard view right again, and then you just move it up into the place that you want it. That looks fine right now. Okay. And then so we're in the front view now, and then you want to make sure, yep, and I just did that wrong. You've got to be careful. Like if you, I know in the latest version of SketchUp, if you hit the keys that match the axes you're going across, like blue axes would be the up key, it locks it. So you're not, it doesn't matter if you move it or not, it locks it. And then say you want to move it on the right axis, you just, you hit the right arrow key on your keyboard, and it will lock it. But then if you hit it again, it will unlock it, and you can move it. And then if you get into a position where you don't want something, just hit Control Z. It'll bring it back. And with SketchUp, you can undo quite a bit of what you've done. So don't worry about, like, if you create geometry and then like a few tasks down the road you find something that you're not happy with or you need to go back and change it, you can just Control Z back to that. But be careful, don't hold Control Z. You're going to want to click it multiple times. If you hold Control Z, it'll take you farther back than you want to go, and that's not what you want to do. But anyway, so we're going to create the secondary hull here. So, and this is just basic. This is just basic. I'm just showing you, how to kind of get an idea of what your ship is going to look like. I mean, it's great to do this when you're a beginner, because you will definitely learn a lot from doing this. So I'm just going to basically set up a saucer here. I'm just going to do it like this, and then we'll come down a little bit. We want to go in a little, just a little, not so much that it's going to interfere, but then bring that here. Might want to pull that out a little bit. Use your offset tool. And the offset tool is great. Like every tool in SketchUp is really good. They're all going to be useful. The tools I use, won't always be useful. The plugins. But these basic tools will always be useful to you. So we're going to turn this into a component. Go primary hull. Okay, that looks a little small. So you use your you got to use your transform tool, your scale tool rather. So bring that up just a little bit, Oh, and another thing, if you try to scale, it's always gonna like go weird. It's always gonna go from corner to corner. So I recommend when you scale, you click and hold, and then hold Control. It will lock it to the center, and then you can scale it directly from the center. This tool is very useful. As I said, all of these tools in the basic setup are very useful. So, we're going to do the nacelle pylons now. So, what you want to do is just drag it out. Just you can eyeball it. It doesn't have to be anything. It doesn't have to be a specific size or width. Um, just eyeball it, and then what you want to do here is turn this into a component. Do pylon. Now, here is an interesting trick. It's a neat trick. Now, most people, um, if they're going to rotate on an axis, they would normally use the rotate tool. But you can actually use the move tool, and you will have these little red plus marks pop up, and they will allow you, and it depends on like where you are on the model, but you will go from the center axis of that geometry wherever you select it at. So what I want to do is, let me go view camera, go to back view, and then what you want to do is, I guess we can bring it like that, and then you don't have to go out of the move tool because you're already in the move tool, so don't worry about that. Okay. So now, we can bring that up, lock it to green axis, and before I forget, the green axis is the left. You want to move it to the left. Okay, so to repeat myself here, the if you want to lock the green axis, which would be forward and backward, um, you would click the left arrow key. Or if you want to unlock it, you click it again. But I am going to keep it locked so I can move it to where I want without going off the axis. So we'll go right there. Okay. So then you want to go to camera, standard view, front, and then to create your nacelle, you basically can do the circle tool here. So then you bring this back. Oh, that looks a little long, but okay, so we'll do that here. And then like I said, I'm just creating a basic ship here, just so everyone can get an idea of how to do it. And as long as you do this and you keep doing this and you practice and you practice, you'll get better. So then if you want to do a little of the Star Trek style, you can. All you need to do is grab your like on these circles when you create them. You have your edges here. Now there's a point here. It's an end point here that will allow you to, scale it. I mean, you could do it with the scale tool as well, but it's just easier to do it like that. So then we've sort of got our Star Trek original series style nacelle here. So triple click, make component. We're gonna name it nacelle, and I will show you how to duplicate these now, so that you don't have to like try to create the thing all over again. And it's much easier creating components because when you duplicate a component, you anything you do in one of the versions of that component will be done in the other one. Now, you can make the same component unique later, but that's more advanced. We'll get into that um, later. Right now, we're just going to finish this up real quick. So you want to grab this and bring it to right about there is good. So then, okay, so you're off of that. You're off of the pylon. So you want to get it to the pylon. So camera, standard view, front, and then again, lock it to the red axis, which would be the right arrow key, and move it over. And that's a little high, so we're going to press the up arrow key to lock it to the blue axis. Bring it down, right there is good. And then lock it to the red axis again. Bring it over. That looks good. Okay, so we've got half of the Enterprise right here. We want to create the other nacelle and pylon. Well, you don't have to draw that all over again. You would hold the control as what I just did, and then in the select tool. So let me deselect. So you select your nacelle or whichever component you want. Hold control, and you'll see a little plus next to your select arrow. It will allow you to select multiple components or pieces at the same time. Multiple geometry is where I'm getting at. So then, what we want to do is we want to bring it over to match. So normally, you know, there's a system that I use to do it, but novices might just eyeball it. So you can do that. You drag it over, and make sure when you drag it over, you lock it to the red axis so that you're at least on the same axis, so it doesn't look uneven at all. So then what you want to do is you want to right click and then open your menu, and you want to flip it along the red direction. So normally you could just bring it over, eyeball it. That looks good right there. But it's honestly not the exact. So really quick, I can show you. Let me just delete this. What you need to do is find your center point here. You can find any center point here. You get your pencil tool. Bring a line out on the green axis or whatever axis you're pulling across. Make sure it's in the center of all of your geometry. So we're going to select both of these, and then we are going to select the line that we just drew. And we're going to pull over on the red axis. Remember to lock. And then, you know, don't deselect anything. Before you even do your flipping, you want to make sure that everything is still selected. So don't right click, left click. Or do not left click, right click. I got that backwards. Right click. And then you want to flip it along the red direction. So then you can lock it or not on the red axis again. So you bring it over, and now you are completely even. Your geometry is lined up perfectly. So we're going to go view, camera, perspective view. So then you use your eraser tool, and there you have it. Just a basic Enterprise. It's kind of cool. You know, And you can do this over and over and over until you get used to it and until you get more advanced with more tools. And we'll get into those tools later on in other tutorials. Right now, as I said, this was just an intro to basic SketchUp, and what you can do. And also, in the next video, which I will be doing after this one, it's just going to be a smaller video. It'll be a companion video to this. I will show you how to paint this. So, as I said, that's it for right now. You know, we'll get more advanced as these tutorials go along. But I hope you guys enjoy SketchUp, and I hope you continue to sketch on. All right, guys. Talk to you soon.